Quack, 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 quack,
Quack,
quack,
quack,
quack,
quack,
quack,
quack,
quack,
quack, quack, quack,
quack,
quack, quack.
Hi, everybody. Disney Dan here. Welcome into the stream and welcome to the first ever. I'm going to try and find that. But there we go. Disney movie review. This is our new show that Walt and I are going to be starting every Sunday, 6 p.m.
Don't let me in on this.
Or I'll just, I'll just be me then. It's totally cool.
In case it's
Where every single week we are going to be randomly choosing a Disney movie and reviewing it every week. We used to do this thing with Star Wars Sunday. I think we enjoyed it so much that we wanted to continue doing something similar to that and review Disney movies we may have seen before, we've never seen before. But this week we randomly chose The Mighty Ducks, and there's no look at this super fan right here. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. There was no better man to choose.
Absolutely not.
For the Mighty Ducks review than Mr. Dougie Waltergrams, Mr. Duck himself. Dougie Waltergrams, Bombay, right here. Welcome into the stream, buddy.
I think it is Bombay I'm wearing. I'm not sure.
It's Gordon.
I have many, so I wasn't sure.
Did you know that's actually Dougie's last name, Bombay?
Dougie Bombay.
Yeah, it works. Right, let me just quickly see who's in the chat, and then we'll get this show underway. We've got Amanda K. Great to see you. I haven't seen this movie, so this is a good recommendation, maybe from us. We'll give you our review, of course, of this movie. Wendy Luhu, good to see you. Welcome. James, Ryan, Noah, good to see you. Adventures with VP, good to see you too. Dolwit Dad, good to see you, pal. Hope you're doing well, Jeff. The Kershaw's Avengers, welcome in, guys. Great to see you. Thank you for staying up late for us. Team Marie Photography, good to see you as well. And can I just say a massive thank you to Dougie for being a brand new member. You really did have to. Thank you so much, pal. Dougie Bombay. That's my new nickname for you now, Dougie Bombay.
I think I'll just go by it.
By the name. Thanks so much, pal. I really honestly do appreciate that. Captain Akron, Rachel Loves Disney. Good to see you guys. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. Magic of the Mouse TV. Good to see you. I know you are a big Mighty Ducks fan as well. So it's YouTube, Disney Dan, and Walt again. Lol, I see you two more than my family. I know we're kind of like
lately, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I know we're practically married. What? Make it blue. Hey, Caitlin, what's going on? Great to see you. That's a cool new thumbnail picture right there. Mm-hmm. So awesome. Great to see you too. So yeah, we thought of, Walt and I were thinking of doing a new sort of series, and we kind of took inspiration from our Star Wars Sundays last year. Mm-hmm. And then also with your daily Disney review, where we put lots of like movies in a hat. Mm-hmm. Well, in this case, a Tyrion Lannister Funko Pop box. I don't know why it's a Tyrion Lannister Funko Pop box, but at the end of the show, we will pick the next movie for next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so Viapree Project, welcome into the stream. Great to see you. Knuckle Puck Time. Yeah, we can't wait to talk about the Mighty Ducks. Firstly and foremost, thank you to all my members who joined up recently, and thank you to all my members who are participating in the Disney Dan membership. And yeah, there's going to be fun stuff coming for you guys really, really soon. And thank you to my partner channels as well. And so let's go around, just firstly talk about your channels, and then we'll get this review underway. Firstly, special guest Dougie, great to have you here. Thank you so much for being firstly our first guest on Disney Movie Review.
Number one, baby, number one. You'll always be number one to us, Dougie.
Yeah, you're like the first pick when we choose like our team.
Yeah, it's like a draft.
And look, even Nathan Staker's here for you.
These are terrible at choosing teams then.
No. Well, welcome in, pal.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to talk Ducks.
My pleasure. A bit about your channel. I know you don't like to, but a bit
I'm trying to build back up to posting stuff again. I'm finding it very difficult whilst in lockdown to do anything interesting. I will warn anyone who would be thinking about looking at my channel, I'm not a family-friendly channel. There's certain language used that you wouldn't catch in any of the other channels. And my main thing that I do, though, is over on is the Saturday night discussions, which I do with Nathan Staker, who's here in the chat, That UK Disney Couple, Zoe from the British Life, and C. Sean Vlog. Every Saturday we do a group stream that I think is very, very funny and very, very good. And that's on that UK Disney Couples channel and on Saturday Night Discussions channel. Everyone else is very informative and helpful, and I cause problems. And
that is not true, by the way, everyone.
That's not true. Surfer Girl, welcome into the stream. Good to have you here.
I very much cause problems.
But guys, go check out Dougie's channel and definitely go check out the Discussions YouTube channel over on that UK Disney couple as well. I can't wait till Disney Plus Mighty Ducks comes out. It's already on Disney Plus for us.
No, the new Disney Plus.
Oh, the new Disney Plus
TV series coming.
I guess we're going to have to talk about that then.
With Emilio.
Alex Brother, welcome into the stream. And Disney Circus Girl, also welcome into the stream. Okay. Walt, I'm excited, dude, for this.
It's going to be great. Yeah, I can't wait too.
So,
it's a good way to start.
And it's good to see you. Welcome back into the stream.
Bless you. My dog just...
Bless you. Oh, there we go. Saturday Night Discussions. Go subscribe to those guys every Saturday, where they have lots and lots of different discussions, of course. Nice. Well, hence the topic. Hence the heading of the channel, Discussions. But yeah, nice. Dougie's on that, Nathan Staker's on that UK Disney Couple, and Seashell's vlog, all on there. Go check them out.
Awesome.
Again, not to watch with kids because one person keeps swearing. So stop me. It's Nathan. He's a troublemaker.
So yeah, Walt, good to have you here.
It's great to be here. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. Couldn't ask for a better guest than Dougie to start off this show. That's why I was happy when we pulled this one.
I'm happy too. And you know what's great is because we have a super fan here of the Mighty Ducks, and until this week, 2 people have never seen the movie before. And that's what
they are.
I know. The one who's clearly not decked out in all the gear, right?
Amen.
So I'm going to start off with Dougie. And I'm going to say, when was sort of the first... Well, obviously you are a big super fan, but when was the first time you really remember watching the Mighty Ducks? How did you become such a fan of not just the movie, but of the franchise as a whole?
I don't even... it's been so long that I don't remember. When did the first one come out? 92?
Yep.
So I was 4. And I just don't remember a time before I had Mighty Ducks on video. It was always there. Yeah, that's all. It was just I was obsessed with it from the time I was a kid. I had not real hockey equipment, but toy hockey equipment because I just wanted to be any Mighty Duck. Normally Goldberg because I am a fat kid, but I just thought it was the greatest thing that I'd ever seen.
Magic Mouse TV says, wait, what? DIZNEYDAN and Mouse Talk? Hey, we never said who it was. You guys never saw the movie. These were great movies. Well, the first 2 at least. Well, we'll definitely talk about the franchise as a whole. But yeah, I mean, if it's a film that you've pretty much grown up with and the sequels and for Walt and I, we have never seen... Go ahead.
Well, I have a correction. I actually do think I did see it before because as we were watching it, Melissa and I sat down and watched it.
Melissa!
We would go, there are certain scenes that would come up that obviously must have left an indelible effect on me because I said to Melissa, and she's in the chat and she'll verify this. I'm like, I remember that part.
Yep.
Or I said to her, see, I remember that part. I said, I've seen this before. I know I have. I mean, it was made in, 1992, so that's almost 30 years ago, for crying out loud. And yes, I was around in 1992. I was actually in my 20s, if you can believe it.
And you're still in your 20s, right?
Yeah, right. Plus about 30. But no, so I actually have seen this movie, and that, I don't take that as a bad review of the movie.
Yeah,
I think it's just because I'm older. I just don't remember everything. But there are certain things that really, as soon as I saw, and I'll get into these scenes when we start talking about it. I said to Melissa, I was like, I've seen this because
Yeah.
I remember that part. And then I was like, I remember that part because they're really good parts of the movie or really interesting plot points to the movie.
Sure.
And it triggered something for me. So I think I have seen it. Or at least I've seen at least parts of it.
So Disney Circus Girl says the franchise as a whole is great, although I hadn't watched it until I stayed at All Star Movies. Well, we'll definitely talk about that specific area of All Star Movies a little later, because that is, I think, quite important for the fandom of the Mighty Ducks. AJC Magic TV, welcome into the stream. And we had, who else was in here? I can't see. Oh, there we go. Candy Mom. Hey, Candy Mom.
Hey,
drive
Cynthia.
safely. Listen and drive safely. Don't drive like Lightning McQueen. Sorry, Viaprees. I think
Good job.
Wrong movie. For me, I'd never even seen the movie. I obviously knew I knew the name, and I actually had stayed at the Mighty Ducks resort area, I think twice, and I hadn't even seen the movies. I thought, because obviously I stayed at the All-Star Movies resort, I thought it was something to do with Goofy, because Goofy is in the goal, at the pool. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's something to do with like Donald and Huey, Dewey, Louie and Goofy or something like that. I didn't even know it was a live action. Was going in blind. I had no clue what it was about. And I sat down this week and watched the Mighty Ducks. And from my personal sort of perspective, the first time watching it, Adventures of VP says, I love the first and second. And hey, Kelly, welcome in. The Mickey
What's up,
Mouse.
Kelly?
Good to see you. It actually reminded me a lot of that 90s Home Alone mixed with somewhat of the Cheaper by the Dozen kind of comedy shenanigans. It kind of felt like a very stereotypical 90s movie, with the really fast like editing when they were running and escaping, and everything is moving at slow motion or really fast, like the camera is following the ice puck. It's very 90s, which I absolutely love, because I remember similar movies like Home Alone, which I think took a lot of inspiration from. Well, didn't know that they had something at the hotel about it. Never been there. Yeah, they have that whole area over at All Star Movies. What, Disneydan? You need to change the channel name. You're an imposter. Oh wait, Carlos is here. I've seen this one. You've seen.
Good for you, Carlos.
Welcome in, Carlos. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. And Arjos, good to see you, my friend. Great to see you.
Carlos is slowly inching his way back to society.
I know.
Good job, my man. Good job. This is a good first step. I'm proud of you.
But
You're just kidding.
It did feel like, if you could name like 90s movies.
Look at Jeff's comment. I believe that.
We're not even going to get to the movie, are we?
We are, yeah. Hey, let me say this. I want to touch on that.
Michelle,
what it reminds me of is
Escapes. Welcome.
Everybody has this in all the sports. You have that the disbanded group of nobodies who are unconventional. They're chaos. Somehow find a way to band together to beat the big bad team. Whether it's Bad News Bears, whether it's Little Giants, whether it's the Mighty Ducks. We've had this story in different sports. We have. And if you notice, it works every single time. Every time.
They're all great movies.
It really does. Even the Little Giants, which I absolutely love that movie with Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis. If you guys have never seen that movie, highly recommend it. It is so funny. You'll get a kick out of it. Dougie, if you're a fan of the Ducks, I don't know if you're a big American football fan, but it's a cute little movie. But that's not what we're talking about. But that's what the Ducks reminded me of. It reminded me of that.
Narrative Escapes says Carlos is like Captain America coming out of the ice. I understand that reference.
Hey, Ian.
That's great.
Yeah. No. It's the other scene when he brings out the
book.
He goes, "I'll put it on the list.
Oh man, but no, you're totally right. There's all these films where there's a fractured group of people, fractured group of people, and it brings somebody in.
Something brings them together.
Team.
Something brings them together. Yeah.
And I've got to say, Dougie, you're going to be really impressed with this. This is probably one of my favorite sports movies, I think, of all time. And I've only seen it once. As good it should be.
Wait till you actually watch Mighty Ducks 2 like you said you were going to. Then you'll see an amazing sports movie.
I was finishing season 7 of Game of Thrones. I'm sorry.
I wasted so much time. It's not a waste of time to rewatch all 3, but I watched all 3 twice this week because I was told we're doing all 3.
We're not on my channel, so I am immune.
I know. My favorite sports movie of all time, says Tina. It's definitely up there. There's some really great sports movies out there, and you know what? This one is really good. I love the comedy. I really, really enjoy the comedy in this film, and I think overall, as a kind of a starting off kind of review, I think definitely a 90s comedy Home Alone kind of feel movie, which I love. So should we just go straight in? Let's talk about the characters and cast, I think, first. Emilio Estevez, the legend. Wonderful performance. I think he does a really, really great job in this movie, in terms of acting wise. Gordon Bombay, I what I really love at the start of this movie is that they go straight in with his failure and him being pressured by Coach Riley. And that kind of his hatred of hockey because of him being sort of it's kind of because of everything was brought back to the past. And obviously we all knew by the end of the movie that things are going to play out the same way. I think it was a very predictable film from the beginning scene.
Sure.
But I really enjoyed kind of his motivation. Well, his not so motivation to teach these kids until about halfway through the movie. I love that first scene. I love it, like straight, hard hitting. That's exactly what I want to see. The protagonist kind of being left quite low, and it was only going to build up from there.
Well, what it does is it sets the scene for the tone of the movie.
Yeah,
it sets the scene of his somewhat redemption back to a coach, and as someone who coached different sports, and I didn't coach hockey, but I coached basketball for 10 years. Okay. As a coach, it also teaches you not only the right way to be a player, but the different effects that a good or bad coach can have on a child.
Yeah.
Okay. You see both ends of it. You see, even though he was a winner and he won a lot of games, the Coach Riley is not a good coach. He's really not. He's all about the winning. He's not about the kid. He's not about making the kid better, not only as a player, but as a person. And in the last scene, which we'll get to, you see what the right kind of coach should be saying in those circumstances. You're not just letting me down. You're letting your whole team down. Gee, what great pressure for a Pee-wee hockey team.
It kind of hit me on an emotional level as a teacher. I know obviously I'm not a coach, but being around kids and trying to get to them to achieve as highly as I can, but also teach them in a fun way. And well, it's a great transition throughout the film.
I'll say this. Look, there are moments as a coach, there were moments when I had to take a step back and be the guy that patted them on the back. And then there are times when you do have to kick them in the butt and get them moving. There's good cop, bad cop, whatever you want to call it at times, but you have to know when the right times for each of those are. And I think this movie kind of touches on that. And, if that Coach Riley had gone in a different direction in that scene, in that flashback scene, maybe you get a different result.
Now, Dougie, I don't know about you, but I felt like Coach Riley was consistent in his sort of mannerisms and his way of coaching throughout the movie, and he never changed, which I really liked.
By the way, Lane Smith, really good. Yeah, Lane Smith, he's a really good actor. Always usually plays a bad guy, but he's really good. He does a really good job in this movie. You wanted him to lose. You want to see him fail. He's a good actor.
Thank you, Tina, for being here. I hope you have a
Tina.
great evening, and see you soon.
The only other thing I ever knew him from was Superman, right? He did Superman TV.
But he was in My Cousin Vinny. He was the DA.
Yeah.
I liked his performance. I really thought he was a great antagonist. He wasn't so much a villain, but he was a good antagonist to the protagonist. It's definitely the fire and ice, the good to the bad. Like there's definitely polar apart, which I really quite enjoyed. And I think what I also enjoyed was that, he was set in his ways, whereas Gordon Bombay, he was told to be a team player. He was very sort of self-condescending. He was he was very selfish at the start of the movie. And then by the end of the movie, he becomes very much a team player. And he even goes to, the guy who owns the business and what's his name? Banks' father. And he was like, I'm gonna lose my job because I'm now a team player. And I love that. Whereas Coach Riley and all the other sorts of antagonists, they kind of just stayed on course. They stayed as what a good antagonist should be. They never changed in their beliefs, which I really thought was great.
Well, what I will say to you, Dan, is if you like Bombay's character arc in this movie, you're going to love Mighty Ducks 2 because he has the exact same character arc again.
Nice.
No changes, and it's fantastic.
Is that an official Mighty Ducks team shirt? If so, respect.
I don't think it's official, no.
just knock someone while he's down. There we go. I'm thinking Dougie looks like Cousin Eddie from Christmas Vacation meets Mighty Ducks.
I love that shirt, Dougie.
Yeah, me too. I would so totally get it if they.
You don't get many hats like that either, by the way.
Cousin Eddie.
How long?
I am angry. How dare you?
Oh gosh. So Gordon Bombay loses. Well, I was very surprised of how he ended up coaching the team. He was caught with a DUI, and I think this was kind of it's definitely campy because I don't know, when he was driving in the car, he was literally drinking like this, like right in front where people can see through the car. Like it was so blatantly obvious that he is. Like, I mean, you could have just didn't have him sort of have the bottle. He could have just acted a little bit drunk. I think that was kind of a bit sort of, all right, we know he's intoxicated. I think, him actually doing like this is a bit sort of over dramatic. I think that's probably maybe just the 90s way of showing that somebody was.
It's a different time period. I mean, that's 30 years ago. Back then, we're living in a different world now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, this is really boring. But the Mighty Ducks wasn't originally set up at Disney, and the original script was a much darker movie. And he was a full-blown alcoholic.
Wow.
Which is why he is Gordon's Gin Bombay Sapphire Gin. He's just named after alcohol because he was an alcoholic character. So I think that sort of just mad drinking while driving is just left over from that. Boring. And
I can see that. No, it's not boring at all. And I think it's quite interesting that, I can see this film being a lot darker and being more of a redemption story of him being an alcoholic. But obviously that being now it's a Disney film, it kind of needed to be a little bit more sarcastic and more lighthearted.
Yeah, it's definitely a redemption story for sure. It's his redemption for a failure that in part really isn't his fault.
No,
it's really the fault of the coach, and he redeems it not as a player but as a coach. So not only does he finally win the big game, but he shows the other coach the right way to do it. That you can win not only as a coach that is mean and tough and win and win first, but you can win the other way too. Which is the right way to win. Kids first, team first. That's the way. So it's definitely a redemption story for sure.
And I think his character arc is very on the nose. Like you could definitely tell where it's going, how he's definitely changing the way, and I think that is pretty much the forefront of this movie. That he literally his character arc is front and center before anything else, which I like. I think it's quite good. But does that take away from some of the other characters? Possibly. But I think as a protagonist, as the main character, I think he was done. His character was written very, very well. Kate, I would welcome into the stream. Really great to see you. So let's talk about the kids then. Wow.
Well, first off, it's funny who some of these kids are. First off, the main kid,
Don Jaworski, welcome into the stream. Good to see you. Sorry,
hi, Don. Welcome in. Joshua Jackson plays Charlie.
Yeah.
And Joshua Jackson, of course, went on to star in Dawson's Creek and a few other things as he got older. And then the one kid, the kid that plays Fulton Reed, he's Foggy from Daredevil, for crying out loud.
I know.
Yeah. I asked Melissa if she knew that. I said to Melissa, I said, do you know who that is? She goes, I don't know. He looks familiar, but I'm like, that's Foggy from Daredevil.
Because when I watched the movie, I like to look at the IMDb before I watch the movie. And I click on this guy who looks like an emo, and I don't know, and I look at his IMDb, the actor. I'm like, wait, that's Foggy from Daredevil? That's great, because they're completely different characters in every single way, but they look identical. Because it's the same person. But it's a bit of a silly sort of statement there. But I think the kids in this movie, I think there's definitely more time spent with certain kids. I'd love to see more of Banks from the Hawks. I would have liked to see him a little bit more at the beginning, because I think when they found out sort of the legal issue that he's playing for the wrong team, I think it would have made a little bit more of a bigger deal if they kind of was more information about Banks of how good this kid actually was, rather than Coach Riley being like, oh yeah, he's one of my best players. I would have liked a little bit more and like shown him how good he actually was. But then I guess he didn't have that big of a role in the final match anyway. He scored a goal and then he was taken off. So
yeah, I liked his role. I like the fact that probably the best player on the other team had to switch teams, and I thought that was really kind of neat.
Yeah, I like the idea. I thought it was very, very cool. I just wanted maybe a little bit more about him as a person. I think we got more information about his dad than we did actually him. I don't know. That was kind of one of my few smaller sort of nitpicks, but I really enjoyed sort of the kids' dynamic. Like Doug, you said earlier, Goldberg. I loved when he got strapped to the goalpost. He was like, "No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this." I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's actually not too bad." He's like, "Hey, take me down, like, coach, get me down." And he's like slowly walking off the ice. He's still strapped to the goalpost. That was great.
Well, it was a lesson he was being taught, and part of what he was being taught is that with the proper equipment, it's not going to hurt if the puck hits you, and it's a mental obstacle that you have got to get past, and sometimes you have to get forced to get past that mental obstacle. And that was really it was a teaching moment. That's the point they were trying to make there. It's a lot of times it's mental when it comes to sports. You have the ability physically to do it, but mentally you've got to believe that you have the ability to do it, and believe that it's not going to hurt and things like that. And that's what that part was to me. As a coach, you kind of nod your head like, yep, yeah, sometimes you have to do that. And yeah, it was cool.
Dougie, who's your favorite or some of your favorite?
I mean, Goldberg, I think growing up was my favorite. My favorite Goldberg moment is there's a early match with the Ducks where Bombay is just encouraging them to cheat, take dives, whatever you have to do. Goldberg takes a dive while they're shooting at him, and he's just like, "Goldberg, don't take a dive while they're shooting at you." Well, you never explained that, and it's just, I just love him. Because I've watched all three, I'm much more attached to the few kids who go through all three, because when you come around to number 2, they just ditch a lot of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fulton Reed, Goldberg, Charlie. Banks gets much more to do in the sequels as well. I really like those guys.
Chaos is sorry. I still think getting hit by a hockey puck is going to hurt.
Well, I think it depends on what position you're playing. If you're a goalie, you've got a lot of protection. You've got a lot of padding.
I think the ice skater and her brother, I think kind of I didn't really know who they were. Like they were sort of, I don't even remember their names. I think they were just thrown into the team willy-nilly. Like they didn't really have much.
Dougie, I don't know about you. Don't you think they could have elaborated on her a little bit more? I like the idea that they had a figure skater on the team.
Yeah, I like that.
They could have taken her role just a tad bit more. Maybe helping some of the ones that weren't very good skaters, teaching them how to skate a little bit better.
I thought that would have been a great idea
because
Bob Baker to be like, hey, you're a master skater, you teach them.
Yeah, because her scene in the end there where she's spinning, at the end, I don't want to give it away just yet. We'll get there. But when she's spinning in the end, that was a neat little part, but we don't really get a connection with her character. And I think they could have, especially for the female side, if there are females watching this, it's a good way to really connect and bring them in.
The only time, like, sometimes I forget she was even on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were times where, like, oh, wait, she's on the team. She's doing that spinny thing from the scene earlier in the movie.
Well, isn't that, the one kid that could really shoot the puck, what did he say he couldn't do? I can't skate.
Yeah.
See the connection? Right.
And him together.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would have made a little bit more sense, but
I'm giving this movie an F.
and I was kind of a bit confused with the Averman character because everyone seemed to love this kid Averman, but I don't sort of got the appeal of him. Like he just like, he's like that typical. I don't know. He seemed like the nerd of the group, but like everyone seems to.
Averman again, I think comes into his own in the sequels.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because he's there.
They do a much better job of focusing on the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Good.
I think 2 and 3 do a much better job of focusing on the kids as characters, and you spend more time with them. Whereas number 1 is basically Gordon Bombay and Charlie, and that's
yeah. Well, it's the first one. Again, I haven't seen the sequels yet. First off, it is Bombay's story. It's not the story of the kids. It's his story. It's his redemption story and how he gets there. They are the part of the act that gets him there, and they're part of the group. They're part of what helps. But it is Gordon's story, and his story needs to be done first. So I think they did the right thing. You hope for more here and there, but it is his story. So it's good to see that the kids are more prominent in the next ones.
And I think the kids each do have somewhat of a sort of a side story. I did like Fulton Reed's, and I think the kid's name is Jesse, who had a brother. Is it Jesse?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
Jesse.
They kind of had sort of. The line that I really liked was, "You may be wearing our shirt, but you're not part of the team," or something like that. Or no, you're wearing a Ducks jersey.
Yeah, he said you may have
Duck.
bought these uniforms, but you're not part of the team, or something like
you're
that.
not.
Yeah, he said that to his boss.
I loved that line. I thought that was really sort of, hard hitting. And I think Banks took it quite well. And there was kind of that confrontation between Banks and Jesse. I wanted maybe a little bit more sort of interaction on the ice together and then kind of made up for it. And I think spoiler alert, when Banks does sort of go out of the game, you kind of see that sort of friendship sort of get together from that, and I think that was great. And I enjoyed Jesse and I can't remember Jesse's brother's name. What was Jesse's brother's name?
Terry. Jesse and Terry.
I like them and their father. I paid I think his line was like, I paid my extra hours for you to be my coach or to get them training.
Yeah, for them to take falls.
Is this what I gave up my overtime pay for to see my kid taking falls?
Great line, because I think that...
Sorry, I've watched this movie too many times.
No, but I think that's great because I think that line really one of the reasons why Bombay really sort of took it on the he took that seriously.
Right. But see, it's funny you talk about that because you talk about Hall, Jesse, and with Banks and their relationship and how he doesn't trust the kid.
Yeah.
Because he played for the enemy right? And before the championship game, as they're going out on the ice, Jesse looks at Banks and says, "Remember which team you play for."
I love that.
And that's true. I mean, trust me, as a competitive athlete, I've played a lot of sports in my life, in high school and everything. It's true because you always wonder, is his allegiance really with you when he's only been with you for a few games? He's been with them for years. And it's true. It means, and I think what happened to Banks in there showed you that his allegiance was in the right place. Ultimately, we did get
absolutely.
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I did like sort of the children dynamic, and I liked, them out of sort of the training scenario, them sort of in the back streets, them sort of playing that prank on that guy who tried to steal a wallet. I thought that was a great scene. And I think just them as a whole were really, really fun. I love Jesse sort of when they first introduced Gordon Bombay to the kids and they were on the ice. I love that sort of start where Jesse is going up to Bombay like, do you know what hood you're in? Like, you better like back out, like whatever. And I think it was pretty cool that these kids are very independent. They pretty much rely on themselves, and they're not the greatest hockey players at the time. But they had each other, and they wind themselves up like those kids at that age do. Heck, they got into a fight in the classroom. I thought that was great. I thought it was a great scene because it's not just like, they're not all best friends. And like we talked about the fractured group dynamic, and it was only going to be Charlie who kind of put them all together. And I think, for me, Charlie was my favorite character out of the whole film.
What about you? Who's your favorite? Was it Goldberg?
No, I think I'm going to go with Fulton Reed. I like Fulton Reed. I like him as an outsider that comes in. And just when you're a kid, it's really cool that he can hit that puck really hard. That's just...
I just like how
the fear that it brings out in everyone else. It's just fun.
I loved how all of them were like ducking out of the way. Oh, there we go. Pun there. Ducking out of the way. That was terrible. Well, that's a joke that you would say.
I know.
I loved how they all like got out of the way because they were so scared of this big guy taking a shot. And when they did the dummy, when everyone thought he was going to take that shot and passed it to, I think it was Charlie who scored the goal. Because the goalkeeper was like, don't hit it at me, don't hit me. I thought it was great. Like really clever, really, really clever tactic right there. So
I agree. I like the fact that they allowed it to go a different direction, a little bit of a change of a direction there. It was fun.
I want to take back my favorite character. My favorite character was the Yoda of the movie, and that's Hans. Not from the Southern Isles.
Hans, suck it.
I love Hans, who, if you don't know who Hans is, he's the owner of the hockey shop. Is that right? He creates
by the way, the grandest looking hockey shop I've ever seen in my life. It's like a mansion and it sells hockey stuff.
And I loved sort of the Yoda Luke Skywalker moment with Hans and Bombay. I really enjoyed their interaction. And I think those kind of characters I really do enjoy because they kind of help the protagonist in subtle ways, but there's a lot of meaning behind it. Like he talks about the past and talks about, the hockey is still the game and it's, there's nothing has changed. It's all about you and you need to change. And I really enjoyed Hans' interaction. He's by far my favorite character from the film.
Yeah, I wish we had gotten more of him, though.
Yeah.
What I wanted at the time is something a little bit more of a. What was his relationship to Gordon? We touched on it a tad, but not a tad. Is it just because he was the shopkeeper of the local hockey equipment, or did he have more of a relationship? Was he close with his father? I wanted a little bit more of an understanding why he was so close with him.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't fit everything into a movie. But his character was neat for sure. I think my favorite character in the movie was Lewis, the butler. I mean, the guy driving the car. Do you know who that is?
Lewis, aka Happy Hogan.
No.
No?
Well, I mean, but that's MC Gainey. He's been in Justified. He was in Lost. He's been in Wild Hogs. He always plays those bit parts. It's MC Gainey. He's been around for a long time. He usually will play a bad guy though. That's him when he was really young.
I wanted to see a little bit more from him as well. I love sort of the interaction and the facial expressions he had when Fulton Reed completely destroyed his windows.
Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a load of side characters which I think all had a really great role. So, hey, RobFuz, what's going on, pal? Good to see you.
And I'm kidding. He wasn't my favorite character. Gordon's my favorite. Emilio Estevez did a really good job on this movie. I liked his character.
He was also in Con Air. MC Hammer, whatever his name is.
MC Gainey. Yes, he certainly is. Yes, he's in
Con Air's
a ton
great
of stuff. He's been in a ton of stuff, man.
Doug, yours was Fulton Reed, your favorite character.
Fulton Reed is my favorite character in the film, I think. But again, I'm finding it so hard to separate them from the sequels. So I can't honestly say who's my favorite and number one.
So is your favorite character Fulton Reed because of his character progression in the later films, or just from this film alone?
I honestly can't tell you. I can't. I can't take it out of my head. Like, I can't separate the three.
So Walt, you said before the stream that you had some questions for Dougie.
Well, Dougie, what is it about this movie for you that you're such a huge fan? Like, I enjoyed this movie a lot, but there's usually, what is it about it that makes it Dougie's prized possession? I'll put it to you that way. Like, I have my reasons for Lord of the Rings being where it is, and I've been pretty adamant about what they are and pretty outspoken. I want to hear from you. What is it that puts it as such a love affair for you with the Mighty Ducks?
Okay, so, and again, I can't answer it based on it's this movie, right? The Mighty Ducks for me it's the three of them, and I think, okay, they didn't do well critically and they're very silly, but there is a genuine, excellent storyline that runs through the three films that ultimately the first film's about Gordon, the second film's about the kids, the third film very much about Charlie, and everything in that third film are threads from 1 and 2 that culminate, and I just think it's a well told story, and everything is set up from the start.
Nice.
And it's dumb that it's a Disney movie trilogy about hockey that I'm saying this about, but I just think there's a really good bit of storytelling about Charlie there.
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, dude, it's what you love. I think it's great. I'm ready to watch the second one now. I enjoy. I'll give my rating, my letter grade at the end.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like I said earlier, it obviously had some sort of indelible effect because I remember scenes about it. And again, I said, Melissa, I remember that. I remember that scene. I might have watched it 30 years ago and never watched it since, but I remember certain scenes. Like the scene when he's in his boss's office and he goes, you know, he says to him, quack, 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 stop saying that. Or when Banks goes down in the game at the end there and scores the goal. I remember that scene. It's certain scenes that just stick out. And it's
I'll tell you, I had no expectations of this movie. And I know this is kind of sort of a brief review of the film and a discussion, but I, like you all, really enjoyed this movie. I was pleasantly surprised. It was fast-paced, which I really enjoyed. There was no sort of slow parts of the movie. I felt like it just kept giving me something. It was something, then something happens. I think obviously with these kind of movies, it's a very predictable kind of movie. You knew what was going to happen. You even knew what the setup of how they're going to win the game. You know, it's going to be a mimic to what we saw at the start of the movie. We knew it was a very predictable sort of start. There was no sort of surprises for me, but in a way, I am surprised of how much I did enjoy this movie regardless. I didn't expect, that the kids to be the team to be a fractured group. I didn't expect the big overarching storyline and character progression of Gordon Bombay. And I really enjoyed, Coach Riley. I really enjoyed his performance, and I felt, yeah, that's a guy who I just don't like. I just really don't.
You really wanted to see him lose. And I really wish there was a scene at the end when Gordon would have walked up to him and said something to him. I really wanted that interaction at the end, even if Gordon just walks up to him and goes, some kind of wink or something like, you can add that banner to the wall too now. Something like that would have been really cool. That's what I missed.
I really like it. And
because he said to him, he goes, man, I really wish they would take that banner down, don't you? When he says that line, I was hoping they'd give him a line at the end where he goes, you can add that banner to the wall now too. I'm talking about second place.
I love it. I want to bring up the All-Star Movies Resort. And I feel like because this movie, I think, Dougie, you can totally agree with this. This movie and franchise has such a cult following, a massive cult following, that Disney decided out of all movies, think about Disney's massive franchise vault of movies, they created a very well-themed resort area at the All-Stars Movie Resort. And I've had the privilege of being able to stay there twice, and I loved that area. And it is a cult movie. And I really appreciate that Disney goes back to these films like Tron and Mighty Ducks and gives us something that's not just, hey, look, it's Cinderella. Hey, look, it's Star Wars. Hey, look, it's more sort of proper hardcore Disney, or in this case, Mighty Ducks fan, which I love.
They've been. I think Disney are quite lucky with the Ducks in that, like, of all of these sports movies, how many have actually spawned a legitimate team, right?
This one did.
That very much, I think, drives a lot of the fandom about the movies. But last year for the anniversary of the Anaheim Ducks, all the cast members were getting trotted out. I don't know what it is about the trilogy that people seem to have this nostalgia for, but it does seem to have connected with 90s kids. I would love to stay at that part of All-Star Movies. It makes me so sad that I haven't.
You got to ask them.
Yeah, just ask them. I mean, just being able to walk underneath those massive duck sort of face masks, it's pretty cool. I think it's really, really sort of creative, and it's definitely Disney Imagineering it at its best. And James Rice says, Dan, that Mighty Ducks section of All-Star Movies is the best part of the resort. It has a pool that is well-themed, and it is short walk over to All-Stars Music Hub. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Alex Brunner says, I can't wait for the Mighty Ducks show coming on Disney+. So again, with this kind of show, I don't know about you, but I'm very excited. Once I've seen 2 and 3,
I'm interested to see how they're going to go. Yeah.
I mean...
go ahead. Yeah,
no, you go.
No, I was just going to touch on, you were talking about the All-Star Movie Resort.
Yeah.
I've stayed there twice. What I like about that resort is Disney does take lesser appreciated movies. I'll say appreciated, because I think all of them that they've chosen, except Fantasia 2000, I wasn't a big fan of that. Or it might even have been the original Fantasia. I don't remember. But they've taken all these different movies and put them into this resort. You got Herbie, you've got Dalmatians. Now, Toy Story's over there, of course. But I love the Ducks area. I'm glad I thought it was a win that they added this to that area. It does fit well, and the theming's fantastic, for sure.
RobFuz, thank you so much, man, for the $1.99 super chat. I just want to hear Dan say super chat. Thank you so much, pal. I really do appreciate that. You're the best, dude. Thank you so much. But I love that part of the resort. I mean, I've actually when I went there, it was this year. When I went with Sarah, we stayed at All-Star Movies, and they actually firstly put us at the Herbie area. And I said, hey, do you have any rooms either in the Dalmatian or the Mighty Ducks area. And they were like, we have some rooms in Mighty Ducks. I was like, yeah, sure. So because I'd stayed there before and I really liked that area, and it's very close to the All-Star Music bus drop-off, which I really like. And I really enjoy the theming.
Yeah, Toy Story Land, the Toy Story and the Ducks area over there are the two best themed areas of that resort.
Totally agree.
You know, don't get me wrong, Dalmatians and Fantasia are great too, but those two are just done really well. And the fact that they have the pool for the Ducks and make it look like a hockey rink is just even better.
It's cool.
They really did a good job with it.
Even the restrooms and the laundrettes.
Yeah, the laundrettes
are changing rooms like as if you're going to a hockey game.
Yeah, they look like lockers. Yeah,
they look like lockers. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
It's done well.
So every week we are going to grade the movie that we've watched. We're not going to give it an out of 10. We're going to do a grade because I think
a letter grade.
Yep. A letter grade. I think we'll do from like A+ down to F. And we'll have like plus minuses, I think, whatever. And I think obviously the guests who we have are going to score it very, very highly. Clearly, I think Dougie's going to give this an A+, probably. But we're going to give our grades now. I'm going to start off with our guest. And so out of everything as a whole, your love for the Mighty Ducks, the movie, the production, everything about it, what would you give your beloved Mighty Ducks?
I'm going to give
you can do all three movies.
Solid B-.
Very nice.
Oh, if I was rating a trilogy, it would be A+, but a B- for number one because it just gets better.
So a B- for the first one, and then obviously Walt and I haven't seen the second or third. What would you rank the second and third?
Second, it gets a solid A+. I think a nice B+ for 3.
Nice,
fantastic.
Yeah.
So that it's only going to get better for us, Walt.
Nice. I'd like to hear that.
What would you like to give it?
I give it a B. I definitely give it a B. I enjoyed the movie.
I went for a B as well.
Yeah, I'm giving it a B. I really enjoyed the movie a lot. The characters are really done well. Do I wish there was a little bit more character development? I do. But then again, you can't. There's so many characters. You can't develop all of them. At least not in one movie you can't. And in the 90s, movies didn't go for 2.5, 3 hours like you get nowadays. They're hour and a halves, stuff like that. So you have to move the movie along. And that's another thing they do really well here is they move the movie along. But they do stay on point of the story they're telling with Gordon Bombay.
Yeah.
And his redemption back to a coach who really wasn't a coach that did well for him. And I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was done well. I do think that Emilio Estevez carries the movie. Him and Coach Riley are, I keep saying Coach Riley. I'm going to go back up to the IMDb at the top. But he's both of them are really well done. They're good, they're good contrasts for the two of them. I think it's done really, really well. Lane Smith does a great job. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I give it a B.
James Rice gives it a B+. Anybody in the chat would like to give it a grade if you haven't seen the movie? So, Caitlin, I know you haven't seen the movie.
I recommend you watch it.
We're going to do this other grade. I think we would do out of 3, whether we're going to do don't recommend it if you want, or a must recommend. For me, I think it's a must recommend. I would definitely really recommend to watch this movie. Sit down. It's not a very long movie. It's about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes. I'd definitely check it out. By the way, mine's not a B on the screen. It does say B- the Mighty Ducks, not B-. It's just B. Adventures with VP says, I agree with that. Mighty Ducks 2 is the best 3. So I'm looking forward to watching that. So firstly, I just want to say thank you so much, Dougie, for being our first guest on the Mighty Ducks Disney movie review. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. And before we go, we are going to choose
next week's
movie. So I'm going to get the help of Tyrion Lannister, because Tyrion is a well-known movie character. He's not. He's TV.
He's in Tron, right? No.
Yeah. Look. Oh, that's so weird. You can see my hand. Okay,
Oh,
I
that's kind
know.
of spooky, actually.
Right, here we go. What movie are we going to be watching this week, Walt?
Remember the Addams Family with the hand that crawls?
I know.
That's what it reminded me of.
Ooh, we are watching. We are watching Beauty and the Beast.
Which one is that?
So, with remakes and classic films, I think one of us should choose the classic, and one
I get
of
the
us
classic.
should choose. That is fine because I've never seen the live action, and I'm looking forward to watching it.
Okay.
So I'm going. Next week we are going to be reviewing our first Disney animated classic, Beauty and the Beast, and its remake. I'm looking forward to that. I'm super excited, Walt, for that movie next week, and it's gonna be really exciting. We're gonna think of a special guest who loves Beauty and the Beast as much as we do. Dougie, thank you so much again. I'm so grateful for you being here, first guest for us, and your love of the Mighty Ducks. But there was no other person that we could think of to have you here. So thank you so much.
I'm sorry I didn't have more to say. I'm just very sleepy.
That's very sleepy. We'll let you go to bed in a minute. Donna says that's my favorite movie. I think we might have an idea here.
I feel bad for you, man, watching the live action Beauty and the Beast. What a shame.
Hey, you know what? I always go into these films with an open mind, whether I enjoy it. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll watch both this week. So who knows? But guys, please, if you haven't checked out Dougie's channel, Walter Graham's, please go do so. Now, like Dougie said at the start of the stream, it is not family friendly, but if you really enjoy, I feel like your sarcastic humor is so great. I really enjoy it. And go check out Dougie on the Discussions YouTube channel with that UK Disney couple, Seashores Vlog and Nathan Staker. Please go check all those guys out. A wonderful UK Disney crew we have here in the UK. So yeah, it's great. So go check out Dougie. Thank you so much also for becoming a member, my friend. I'm truly grateful for that. So thank you. So go check him out. And Walt, I think we had a really great, successful first episode. I'm super pumped for this series. And it was great.
I agree. I was kind of hesitant when we picked the Mighty Ducks. I'm like, you know what? I'm really glad we did. Dougie, I get where you're coming from. It was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. I was glad you were here. Couldn't ask for a better first guest. Buddy, we're glad you came out today. We're honored to have you. Thanks to everybody in the chat. The chat's always fantastic. It's just great. This is a great way to start it. It's just awesome. You know, it's going to be difficult to repeat this every single week, but we had a lot of fun tonight. Dan, as usual, you're a great host, pal. Thanks for having me. This is awesome. It's nice, and it's nice to have to not do a lot of work. Just sit back and stream. I had 4 streams yesterday, so it was nice to sit back.
Yeah, a busy day yesterday. Just let everybody know next week we'll be doing the show on Walt's channel, and we will be alternating every week. So next week, Beauty and the Beast will be on Mouse Talk's channel. A bit about your channel, Walt.
So be our guest.
Yeah, we'll talk about be our guest. We'll talk about Disney stuff, Disney park stuff to do with Beauty and the Beast, of course. Bit about you, Walt. What's coming up for you? You're going to do Flight of Passage tomorrow.
I am. Daily Disney Discussion tomorrow is Flight of Passage. It's an awesome one to pick.
Not Carousel of Progress.
Yeah, no, not yet. I know. I had it in there twice. I couldn't believe it. I was like, why is this in here again? But anyway.
You kept saying Carousel of Progress.
I know. I know afterwards. I know. I had COP on the mind. But we do. Daily Disney Discussion every day has been great. We're having a lot of fun with that. DIZNEYDAN on Tuesday night is Pop Culture Night. I'm working on what we're going to do for that. I might be doing a Disney restaurant bracket. All restaurants, sit down, table service restaurants. So we're working on that, and that'll be Tuesday nights. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then other than that, of course, Saturdays also with Steve and I, we do our sports night, non-sports night lately. But we've been having a lot of fun. New video just came out today. We went down to Disney Springs. Some more stores opened up. So go check that out for us, guys, if you don't mind. We've been having a lot of fun with that. And some other new videos have come out. Vlogging is going to become more of our thing. You're going to start seeing a lot more vlogging from Mouse Talk. Lots of videos, not just live streams.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I'm really
lots
looking
coming.
forward to it.
Lots coming. And Dougie, it's always a pleasure, buddy. I'm glad you were here today.
No, I was flipping words. Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. It's like that scene from Liar Liar.
It's nice to be back talking to people.
Yeah, it's great. It's
nice to be people too. That's us.
You're always welcome to come back anytime, Dougie. But yeah, as for me, Disney Fiasco episode 97 next week. It was so fun yesterday having Walt and It's Always Sunny join us yesterday. It was really, really great stream talking about Disney snacks. Disney Food Friday will be back on Friday. I know it's been super crazy with Disney Food Fridays and busyness. So we will get that done on Friday. Disney Nuts Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And I've got a few other videos coming up. I've got a entire Disney pin collection update video coming soon. Lots of busy stuff. It's going to be fun. And so, yeah, thank you so much again to all my wonderful members. You guys are amazing. Thank you to everybody also for tuning into this first episode of Disney Movie Review. This was such a blast. I've really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to continuing this. And thank you to all my partner channels as well. Mickey's Magic, RobFuz, Viapree Project, and Mouse Talk. Go check them out. And yeah, follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. And follow everybody else here. And we're going to get out of here because us boys in the UK, I think it's time for some sleep time. So
it's tomorrow now.
It is tomorrow.
It is.
Tomorrow today.
Happy
And I got
Monday.
work in the morning. Happy Monday, everybody. And I'll see you guys all on Saturday. Disney Fiasco. Bye.